Hello and welcome back to this Pong series. This is the second part, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up the scene so we can be ready to add the script in. So what we're going to do is load up the game scene that we created in the first part, and we're going to make this sort of black and white kind of colour thing, and then we can have white sparks and things coming off the ball when it hits the paddles. So the first thing you want to do is click on, make sure you're in this game scene. It says up here if you're in this scene. Let me just get out of that. There we go. And then once you're in this scene, you want to click on the main camera and click on background and then make it black. Well, yeah, just keep it black. It just makes it easier. And then what you want to do is create game object, create other, and then cube. Even though it is 2D, you can still use the 3D thing. So if you click 2D here, you can see it is a 3D object, but just leave it on 2D. It doesn't particularly matter. And what you want to do is drag it out so that it's the same, relatively the same size. It's like so. So that it covers up the whole. And then just hit save. I like to hit save every single time I do something, just in case it goes wrong. And then notice this is grey. This is because we need to change the ambient lighting. So what you do is click edit, render settings, and then change ambient light to white. You can set it to whatever colour you want, but white is what we're going for. And notice it is actually white, and what we want is a black one, and this is where this standard assets mobile comes into it. What you want to do is click materials, and then go on grid for 2D. Drag grid for 2D over to this cube. Notice it has changed here. Now, I think the tiling best one. Yeah. The scale both needs to be the same. So if we change both to say 15, bigger. Change them both to 18. Yeah. Make sure the X scale and the Y scale for the cube is both 18, and just leave Z as 1. Z doesn't actually matter because we're not doing 3D, so this is, if we change the Z scale, it does change if it goes beyond the camera, you see there, but just leave it default, which is 1. And there we go, this is the background. So if you click on the camera, you can resize this to make it zoom in more, but we'll just leave it as the default. And now this doesn't actually matter here, but just leave it as black in case, say, if they change the resolution and the camera goes bigger, and then you see there's a black outline here, but just leave it like this. Let me just Control Z until it gets back. Right. Yeah, so now we're going to just create an animation. This is why we created this animations folder here at the start. So what you want to do is click on the cube. Then you might not have this animation window here, which is what we're going to use, but to get this window, you go on Window and then Animation. And then it should pop out, and then you just drag and drop it around. It doesn't actually matter, you can put it down here if you want, but here is the better, well, where I like to put it. It doesn't actually matter. So what we're going to do is make sure you've clicked the cube, then go on the record button. And this is where we save the animation. So we're going to call it grid scroll. Doesn't really matter what you name it, but it's just better having it name something that you'd know. Now this is all gone red, which means we can change the parts of it. So what we want to do is add curve, then mesh renderer, and then I believe it's material.main.text.st. Yeah, notice these numbers here have to be the same as these stretches, the tiling and the offsets down here. So between 0 and 1, make sure you move this, which is what the frame we're going to be working on, to 1, which is 1 second. And then what you want to do is change this first number to 1. And then you hit play, and you see it's scrolling sideways. What we can is actually make that better. Make this first offset to be 0. You notice it changes down here. And then this one to be 1. It has to be a whole number so that it scrolls through and it looks like it's repeating. Yeah, so I think that's good enough. So now you hit the record button so that it stops recording. And there we go. Now this has an animation, and there should be the animation inside the animations folder. What are we looking for time? Okay, so it's only on 6 minutes. Right, okay, now we're gonna create the paddle. So we're going to create game object, create other, and then cube. If you notice, the cube has spawned off the screen, so what you want to do is change the Z to be 0. Now make sure the background cube, let's rename this, so press F2 on it, to background. Then make sure this is 1. Well, it could be it's minimum. Yeah, sorry, just leave it as 1. Just make things complicated. Just leave this as 1. Sorry, that was the wrong thing. Yeah, leave this as 1, but make sure this position is also 1, which means it is behind. So if you move this, see, it goes behind. Just, it has to be a bigger number than the paddle so that it's behind it. If that makes any sense. It should do. Then rename the cube to, this can be the left underscore paddle. And then we're just going to center it off on the Y. Then we do minus, let's try and get a good number here. Yeah, -7 is good. So change X to -7. And now what we want to do is just change the scale of the X, something like something like 0.3. Yep. Then change the scale of this to something, yeah, 3. I like that. Maybe. Sorry, just keep saving it. It's just so in case something goes wrong. Maybe a bit smaller, 2. No, just leave it as 3. You can change this, it doesn't actually matter, it doesn't really affect anything. Because we're working in 2D Unity, we have to change this box collider. So what we do is right click it and click remove component. And then click add component, type in 2D, and then it should be the first one, box collider 2D. And there we go. Now the size should actually automatically change. So click on this and click F. So it should be 1 and 1. Yeah. So it should automatically change. That's fine. Now leave it as that. Now what you want to do is click this and click Control D, and then name it to right underscore paddle. And then because this is on -7, you want to change it to +7, so it's equally on the other side, and it has the box collider 2D. And just save. Yeah, okay, let's do that. So what we're gonna do is create another cube, then call it kill zone, and then move this to just like on the edge, and scale it up. Mine's on 24, it doesn't actually matter, just as long as it's bigger than the actual screen. Then what you want to do is right click the mesh renderer and just click remove component. That way we have created a box here, and then what you want to do is remove the box collider like we did before and add a 2D box collider. Then it has to be a trigger. This is so that when the ball hits this, it triggers an event which will restart, and it'll add 1 to the score and things like that. So just zero it off here, change this to a nicer number, 0.5, then do the same as we did before, Control D, and then make it positive 8.5, so that is exactly the same on the other side. If we highlight both, it's there and it's a trigger, which is exactly what we want. Okay, now we're going to create the ball, sorry. So create other, and we're going to do a sphere. So make sure the position is on 0, so it starts exactly in the center. And again, we'll do that afterwards, sorry. Make sure the scale, so scale it down, so I'm going to, not 0.1, that is a horrible, 0.6, bit smaller, 0.4. Yep, 0.4 is good. I like that, and make sure to keep saving, just in case something ever goes wrong. What we're going to do now is create other, and create empty, sorry. So go and create game object, create empty. Should just be called game object, click F2, and just call this BG underscore objects, and then highlight kill zone and the background, and then just move them under here. It just helps the whole thing. Makes it more easy to find things. Easier, sorry, more easy, yeah. And then click F2 on sphere, and then hit ball. Yeah, and then right click the sphere like we did before, and do 2D, and it has to be a circle collider, because it is a circle. It's self-explanatory, really. And then, why is this off center? Yeah, I don't know why that was off center, just make sure it's all 0. Radius, that was a really weird number, just 0.5. OTD. And yeah, so that's all we have to do for this tutorial. I can't think of anything else. So in the next video we'll actually get to scripting and moving the pedals up and down. And yeah, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and comment below, and watch out for the next video.